How can we tell if somebody has visual stress, and what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. I have a headache when I read. I have so much trouble trying to focus and concentrate. I don't like being in the classroom. I don't like being in the office. I have a really hard time working on my computer. Just even scrolling or looking at it gives me a headache. I have trouble with balance and trying to get through doorways or riding a bike or being on an escalator. I have trouble going back to the office with all the people moving around me. They're distracting me. Same thing in the classroom. Really, what visual stress looks like is similar whether you're a child with learning difficulties or attention difficulties, or you're an adult or child who's had a concussion or head injury and is trying to get back to work. It's really a difficulty, visual sensitivities to light, to pattern, to movement, and to flicker. So the flicker of fluorescent or of people moving. And it's something that is common among a lot of other conditions. So you may already have migraines, you might already have some diagnosed neurological issues or health issues. It's not the condition that makes the difference, it's the symptoms. And what can help is filtering those visual images with precision tinted lenses. So what does it feel like when you have visual stress? Well, for people who have had it all their lives, they don't know they have it, they just know that they've had to struggle. And it usually isn't until we get these individuals in our office and do the assessment and they experience what it's like to read or see their environment with a precision tinted filter, do they realize what it was that they were experiencing before. If we ask some of the children that we see in for a visual stress assessment, what does it look like when you look at words on the page? Or do you ever see movement? No. But once we get the overlay on, and they say, oh, it's not moving anymore. Well, they didn't say it was moving before because that's what it's always been like. That's normal to them. When I asked my son this question, he was in grade 5, and I said, what does it look like when you look at words on the page? And he said, oh, Mommy, it's so cool. The words spin around, the O's go in circles. I said, oh, well, that must make it pretty hard to read. He said, well, isn't that what it looks like for you? So people who've had visual stress all their life don't even realize that they don't need to be seeing like this. They don't need to be experiencing these perceptual distortions or having so much difficulty reading. So it's really rewarding when we can help these people move forward from that point. Sometimes they're frustrated that they had to go through with all of that all their lives, or why didn't they learn about it sooner? But we look forward to helping them go from this point forward and improving their lives and their school and their work time. So what can you do for yourself or for your child or your spouse or somebody that you think might have visual stress? Maybe they've had a concussion, maybe they've had learning difficulties all their lives, or maybe they're suffering from migraines. So what can you do? Number one, see an optometrist. We definitely recommend that anybody that we see sees an optometrist first, and make sure you tell them what it is that you're experiencing. Yes, they're testing your vision, but tell them you've had a concussion. Tell them you've suffered reading difficulties all your life. Make sure you give them that extra information, because there are some additional tests that they can do on you to find out if maybe it's a binocular instability issue, maybe it's an accommodation issue, tracking. There are tests that they can do to find out what else might be going on other than just the simple vision assessment. Other things that you can do to help yourself or somebody that you know help with visual stress is investigate whether or not certain colors bother them. So that's one thing. If a color is usually bothering them, or they have a really favorite color and they want to surround themselves in that color, that's usually a good indication that color is going to make a difference in their lives. Secondly, take a look at different colored paper. Now, we at the office have a color paper testing kit that has 35 different colors of paper, but go to Staples, take a look at your child's construction paper, find out is there a color of paper that you'd like to be writing on rather than just black on white. Black text on white paper is a big trigger for people with visual stress, so look at alternatives. Something else you can do is take a look at, we'll go to our website and you can look at different colored backgrounds on the screen with text on it. You might find that, wow, reading the text on a green background is a lot easier for me than reading it on the white background. That's another great indicator. So we've got some software that you can purchase to do this, to change your screen, but you can also do some changes within Word and different software to change the color of the background. Something else you can do is look at the lighting in your house. Fluorescent light is a big trigger for visual stress. Not only the spectrum of light that it does have, but the fact that it flickers. It's a gas inside a tube and it does have a flicker. Most schools and classrooms have new ballasts, but if you have an older one in your office or the classroom, that flicker is going to be noticed, and see if the teacher can maybe turn off the lights in the class. Maybe see if your workplace will allow you to take the light, remove the light bulbs and use task lighting. But also be careful with your lighting at home. Compact fluorescent bulbs, the little squirrely ones, those are fluorescent. So you may have replaced all of your regular light bulbs with these compact fluorescent. I would suggest you look at taking those out and replacing them with LED lights. And wherever possible, have dimmer switches so that you can reduce the intensity of the light when you're feeling like you have a headache or you just need to relax a bit. So those are a few things you can do yourself if you feel you have visual stress. And if these things make a difference, it would make sense to get yourself assessed for visual stress and see if there's something else we can do for you with precision tinted lenses. When I'm explaining what visual stress is and how we help with color filters, people often say, like, this seems crazy that you can use something as simple as a tinted lens or a plastic colored overlay to help somebody read better. Well, it's easy, it's simple, and why haven't they heard about it already? So it's a tough thing to answer sometimes because it does sound a bit crazy. It certainly sounded crazy to me until I learned about it and I saw how effective it was. But you have to understand that sometimes things that are weird are actually very practical. They're just overlooked. And this is one of those things. So obvious, yet so overlooked. The way I explain it so that people can relate is sound itself. Sound has high and low frequency wavelengths. You can be sensitive to a high sound, you can be sensitive to a low sound, and we can filter that sound. If it's medical, we can filter that out with hearing aids. We do exactly the same thing here, but with light. Light is also many different wavelengths that we see rather than hear. And what we do at Opticom is we filter the wavelengths of color, the wavelengths of light that you're sensitive to, so that they're not triggering your symptoms. So it's as simple as that. Instead of a hearing aid to filter out sounds, we have a visual aid, tinted lenses that are colored, to filter out your visual sensitivities. Simple as that. Not crazy at all.